Everyone, we are so happy to have Miss Diva Diaz, who is the facilitator for this Access Consciousness specialty class called X-Men. And she's the only one who does it right now, and she facilitates it all around the world. Say hello to everyone, Diva.
Hello. Hi, guys. It's great to be here with you.
Yeah. And so we do have a bunch of questions regarding this class. And Devi, should you start first?
Sure. Viva, thank you so much for your willingness to come to Hong Kong to teach this class. So there's a lot of questions around this class. Can you tell us a little bit what this X-Men is actually about, what this class is about?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically X-Men is one of the Access Consciousness specialty classes, which means that it takes a topic and it looks at it in a lot more detail. And if any of you guys have seen the X-Men movies or the X-Men comics, then you will know that basically the X-Men are these people that have these amazing superpowers. But they don't feel like they have these superpowers. So X-Men's a name that we affectionately give to everybody that doesn't fit in, everyone who kind of feels like a misfit, the people that are like, the round pegs in the square holes. And a lot of times these different gifts and abilities are misidentified as disabilities. So this class is also for anybody who has been labeled with any disability, from OCD to ADD to autism and many more things. So in a nutshell, what the class does is it gives you tools, processes, questions from Access Consciousness that allows you to handle all of these things with a different level of ease and actually use them to your advantage to start creating in a greater way, and so that you're not at the effect of these labels.
That is very cool. And, it's just a really cool class. Sorry, just speaking from my own experience, I've been to like 2 of the X-Men classes. Just every time it amazes me that like what I really can get out of a class. And it's like, wow, like the change that it actually facilitates for everyone. So I also do have some questions from people who are going to take or considering to take this class. Can I just maybe list them out for you?
Go for it.
Okay, cool. The first one would be, let me see. So is X-Men just for kids who have like ADD, ADHD, autism, etc.? Yeah, so it's just for kids.
No, it's definitely not just for kids. We see the X-Men kids as being these amazing creators of the future, because obviously they're the next generation. And a lot of the people that are being diagnosed nowadays are children, of course.
Okay.
But there are a huge amount of adults that either have been diagnosed with some kind of label or disability, or haven't been diagnosed, but they know that they function in a different way, whether it's just that they receive information differently or they communicate in a different way. And actually it's funny because a lot of these classes, it's mainly adults that come, kids, because we don't see that there's anything wrong with these kids. We're not trying to fix anything at all. So, I'll often have parents, teachers, therapists, and just people who are, the creative minds, the people who are, they may be creating a business and having trouble with the way that they should interact with people, or, whatever that may be, or, just general people like myself. When I started Access, I had no idea about this section of the tools, the X-Men stuff, but when I discovered it, I was like, wow, everything else is now falling into place with regards to all areas of my life as well. So yeah, it really is something that is open to everybody, and just it's super fun.
Yeah, I myself, I came to the class at the beginning because as coming from a clinical psychology background, also working with not only kids but also adults, it's like I want to know more about all Access, what kind of tools they have and what kind of say processes, or even what they know about all these labeled quote unquote illnesses or disabilities. And it just amazes me how much how much of them, as you just said, like it's really some sort of like abilities that they have instead of disabilities. And it's just so cool on how like this class just like gives you so much. And I'm obviously a kid, right? No. Oh, no.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and we all were kids. So it's like, how many of you guys were those kids anyway? And now you're just grown up. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it does really apply to everyone.
And, yeah. So Debbie, do you want to go for the next question?
Debbie's in and
Yeah.
Which is number 2.
Question number 2. So if you learn this X-Men class, can you transfer some of your knowledge to your students? I mean, like, because I can imagine that this will be highly beneficial for people who are teachers or maybe have children, or how can you do that?
That is a great question. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, use the tools that you learn, for sure. Why wouldn't you? That's what these classes are for, to give you information, to give you tools, and give you different ways of handling stuff, so that when you get out into the world and you are confronted with different situations, or different behaviors in people, or with yourself, you can say, okay, well, I've got this tool, I'll use it in this instance. Or you might share that tool with a parent in the playground, or with one of your colleagues at work, but absolutely, please, get this information out there as much as possible, because it only contributes. That's what I've seen from my experience. And with X-Men, we are creating a program where you can become an X-Men facilitator, and that's a whole other conversation. But I'll add the links to the website below afterwards, so you can check it out. But yeah, absolutely, this is something to be shared and used in real life as well. It's not one of those things. To me, Access Consciousness isn't one of those things where you just go to the class and then you go home and you feel better for those 2 days that you're in the class. It can be, and that's amazing, but it's actually something you integrate it into your life, and it becomes part of part of just your mindset, part of everything that you catch yourself. If you have a thought that isn't really creating what you want, or an emotion that isn't really like true for you, if you actually start to integrate these tools, the changes really dynamically, just by making the most minimal effort, really. So yeah.
Oh wow, that sounds pretty awesome.
All right. So the next question you already pretty much covered. It's like, how can I be an X-Men teacher to teach kids? That's from someone who is considering taking this class. And you just said, yeah. There's a program coming. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So we're in the middle of creating it. So basically, it's open to all Access Consciousness certified facilitators. And then once you do that and you have certain prerequisites, then you actually have all of the material and the information that you need to get out into the world and be able to deliver these classes in evening classes, in telecalls, in 1 day and 2 day classes as well. So check out the website and we will have more information very soon. But yes, you can absolutely become a facilitator.
And you have to take the class. Cool. So the last question, Debbie, would you like
to go? So this has just come to my mind during one of the conversations with my friends, like, because we have these assumptions that like an X-Men is probably people with disability, but then like every day you found like very, very smart people that they are depressed, they are on antidepressants. I'm just wondering whether this is actually, included in that category of X-Men. They are just super, super quick on everything, super smart, but then the world cannot catch up with them, and then that's why. And then I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Diva?
No, I love this question, and we could probably talk about it for half a day, which is partly why I love it. And yes, we do look at that in the X-Men class. But I love what you're saying, actually, Debbie, because I think so many people think that you need to be diagnosed with something in order to officially have it. So if you're depressed for a day or two, you're just being annoying, or you just need to like get up and get over yourself because you haven't been diagnosed, so there's this in between phase where it's like, if you're not diagnosed, if you haven't like sought like medical attention for whatever it is that's going on for you, there's this kind of gray area where, what do you do about that? Like, how do you deal with that in the real world? How do you deal with the depression when you don't want to wake up in the morning and go to work, when you would rather stay in bed for 2 weeks with the curtains drawn, so absolutely, like, there are tools for that. And these are tools that really cover all of those areas. Like, there are so many things that if they're not diagnosed, they can be kind of ignored. So, even the ups and downs that we all go through, the extremes, the obsessive compulsive behaviors that may not be enough to actually, create this alarm bell of, wow, there's a problem. But if you were to look at it and you were to go, oh, I obsessively do this and I obsessively do this, or, maybe I obsessively drink coffee for 1 week and then I obsessively don't eat any fat for the next week. I mean, whatever that is for you, what if you could actually just start to acknowledge those little things and use them to your advantage, so that you're never becoming the effect of this, but you're always noticing, oh, that's what I'm doing there. How cool is that? And then you start to implement the tools and the questions that allow you to have choice, because so much of what is created with this is this kind of mini universe where you feel like you're in this bubble that nobody else can understand and you can't get out of, and you have no choice. So what is
Isn't that what we all love to do?
That's what I mean. For sure, that's what I mean when I say, like, these tools apply to everybody. It's really not just about disabilities. It's like, if you've got a mind, if you have a body, if you have a way of being in the world, it's very likely that you're different to the people around you. So how do you interact with that? And how do you, instead of closing yourself off and trying to figure it out yourself, and how often do people go into judgment that they're wrong and they're messed up, and I better not talk about this because people are going to think I'm even worse than I already know I am. What if instead of all of that, there were actually tools that could allow you to process that yourself, have more ease with it, and have choice, like real choice. Like, so if you want to be depressed one day, you do it from choice and you're like, okay, I'm actively doing it, but I do have another choice. It's not just this thing that you fall into, based on different triggers or whatever that may be for you. So truly, like, these classes and courses, they are about giving you choice in all areas of your life, particularly areas where you feel stuck, like you don't have choice. And like, I know for myself, I used to be the biggest lunatic on the planet. Like, I used to go to sleep right at night. I would sleep maximum 3 hours. Like, throughout my entire university degree, I slept probably between 3 and 4 hours every single night. And I would worry about stuff for the next day. And then I would worry that I was worrying about that stuff. And then I would have a dream and worry that I was dreaming while I should be trying to figure out the stuff for the next day. And I mean, it was so much going on. And with this, I've really started to have a sense of peace in everything. So
you're the only one, Diva.
I know.
That's why I went into clinical psychology. Hi. Okay. Oops. All right. TMI.
But no, absolutely. That's, it's like, how many of us are trying to look for answers or ways to change things that we don't think can be changed because they're just who we are. Well, sure, maybe that is part of who you are, but what if that's actually capacity for something far greater than you've ever imagined? So, yeah, that was a very long answer to your question.
That was a really cool like response. I really liked it. So cool. And if you guys want more of Miss Diva and more of X-Men, you know what? One of the closest classes would be the one in Hong Kong coming up in September 3rd and 4th. And please join us. And also please visit, what is the website again?
It's xmenabilities.com.
There you go. So hope to see you guys in person. All right. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Looking forward. Bye.